Good morning, everyone. Let's begin with your doubts. So, quickly post your doubts. Let's solve them first, and then we go to a very interesting accounting standard today. Accounting Standard 22. So, quickly check if you have any doubts. Let's solve them first. Then we go to AS-22. Okay, if there are no doubts, let's proceed to Accounting Standard 22, which says accounting for taxes on income. You have the study material with you on the WhatsApp group. You have the study material with you on the WhatsApp group. You may quickly download that, and then we begin with AS-22. Okay. Quickly on the chat box, do you all have the study material for AS-22 now? Do you have the study material for AS-22 now? Okay, perfect. So let's begin with Accounting Standard 22. Okay. Accounting Standard 22, it says accounting for taxes on income. Now this standard I usually teach after you are done up with your chapter of PGBP. However, if you are not done, no problem. I will explain everything to you in detail so that you are conceptually clear with everything that we do. Do remember, this is one of the most important, this is one of the most interesting accounting standards, and it is also a little bit technical. So you need to be conceptually very clear about everything. Right, okay. So let's begin with the basics of accounting standard 22, which is accounting for taxes on income. I'm sure you all are aware that there are two major acts in our country. One is the Companies Act and the other is the Income Tax Act. Okay. Can you tell me what is the objective of the Companies Act and what is the objective of the Income Tax Act? On the chat box, what is the objective of the Companies Act? What is the objective of the Income Tax Act? One sentence answer. दोनों का objective क्या है? What is the objective of the Companies Act? What is the objective of the Income Tax Act? Okay, I have one answer which says to regulate the activities of the company, okay, to regulate the affairs, the governance of the corporates which are covered under the Companies Act. I have another answer which says Companies Act is to control and facilitate company related operations, also correct. Companies Act objective is to regulate the working of the companies, also correct. What about the Income Tax Act? What about the Income Tax Act? Basic understanding of the Income Tax Act. What is the objective? Okay, one answer is to generate revenue for the government, okay. To charge tax on taxable income, okay, perfect. Income tax, all the corporates pay taxes correctly, not only corporates, push the income tax will look at every kind of business, every kind of individual as well. So it is not only pertaining to corporates. Okay, now let me explain to you the basics of the two. First important point, what is the objective of the Companies Act? Companies Act wants to ensure smooth functioning and compliances. It wants to govern the smooth functioning and the compliances of all corporates covered under the Act. On the other hand, if you talk about income tax, what income tax will do is, income tax will calculate taxes and other provisions pertaining to the Income Tax Act. Right, this is the primary objective of the two. Now if I tell you, or now if I ask you, how many kinds of profit are there, you have to understand that both these acts have their own profit and loss account calculation. Companies Act 2013 has its own method of calculating profit or loss. Income Tax Act 1961 has its own method of calculating profit or loss. Both these methods are different, but they give you the final answer, that is profit oblique loss, which means you have two types of profit. You have two types of profits. One is profit as per Income Tax Act, and one is profit as per Companies Act. You have two profits. One is profit as per the Income Tax Act and the other is profit as per the Companies Act. Now, can someone tell me what will you derive from profit as per the Income Tax Act? What will you get from the profit as per the Income Tax Act? What will you get from the profit as per the Income Tax Act? Of course, you will get taxable income. The profit on which you are supposed to pay tax, that you will calculate from Income Tax Act. Okay, perfect. Next question. What will you get from the profit as per the Companies Act? What will you get from profit of the Companies Act? Okay, you will get the profit to equity shareholders. Can I say, everyone on the chat box, yes or no? Can I say that my profit from the Companies Act will help me distribute dividend? That is the profit using which I will be distributing dividend, yes or no? Okay, perfect. Of course, that is the profit looking at which I will distribute dividend. Now let's come to our main point. If you have understood these two basic concepts, understand it carefully. There is one company, there is one company, there is one financial year, say for example 2019-20. However, same company, same transactions, same financial year, same figures, you will get two profits. One is as per the Income Tax Act, one is as per the Companies Act. You will get two profits. One is as per the Income Tax Act and one is as per the Companies Act. मतलब कोई भी कंपनी हो, कोई भी कंपनी, वो एक ही कंपनी, सेम कंपनी, उसी फाइनेंशियल ईयर में वही ट्रांजैक्शंस पे वो लोग दो बार प्रॉफिट कैलकुलेट करते हैं. एक प्रॉफिट इनकम टैक्स के हिसाब से होता है, एक प्रॉफिट कंपनीज एक्ट के हिसाब से होता है. Now also you must understand that these two acts are different from each other. उनके प्रोविजंस बहुत अलग है. इसी वजह से एक ही कंपनी एक ही फाइनेंशियल ईयर में दो अलग प्रॉफिट कैलकुलेट करती है. दे हैव टू डिफरेंट प्रॉफिट्स. They have two different profits. I am again repeating. One company, one financial year is calculating two profits, and both the profits for the same year, same transactions are completely different. Why? Because the provisions of the two acts are completely different. Because the provisions of the two acts are completely different, both these profits will not match. Now, how are these profits different? Let's understand that. Before that, I'll have to little bit explain to you the concept of, there is a concept of deduction in the chapter PGBP. By the way, have you started PGBP? On the chat box, yes or no? Have you started the chapter of PGBP in income tax? Okay, so let me explain that first to you. What happens is, every person earns revenue in some or the other form. Someone may earn in the form of salary, someone may earn in the form of rent, someone may earn by doing business. When you do job, you earn salary. Similarly, when you have business, you earn profit. And this is where PGBP comes into picture. It says profits and gains from business and profession. So profits or gains from business or profession. What happens in PGBP? Please understand. You will first have a profit that you will calculate. From this profit or from this revenue, let us use the word revenue and not profit. You will have total revenue कि इतना हमारा income है. From this income you can deduct eligible expenses. Eligible expenses मतलब expenses that were incurred for the business, expenses that are eligible as per the Income Tax Act. Those expenses are known as eligible expenses. Let's take one example. मान लीजिए 1000 रुपीज आपका रेवेन्यू है. मान लीजिए 1000 रुपीज आपका रेवेन्यू है. आपने 50 रुपीज अपने एम्प्लॉयज को सैलरी दी. टेल मी, इज दैट an eligible business expenditure? Yes or no? Paying salary, is that an eligible business expense? Quickly on the chat box, yes or no? Yes. So you will deduct 50. You will deduct 50. Your business premises are on rent. You pay 100 rupees rent. Again on the chat box, is it a legitimate expense? Is it a legitimate business expense? Can you take deduction? Yes, it is relating to business. Okay. You have some assets. You provide depreciation on that asset. Depreciation of 20 is provided on that asset. Tell me, is this a legitimate expense? Yes or no? Is depreciation expense pertaining to your business? Yes or no? Of course, yes. Can I deduct it? Yes, I can deduct it. Let's take one more example. Say for example, to make it easy, let's take you have an expense of preliminary expenses 30. Preliminary expense of your business. Tell me, can you deduct that? Can you deduct preliminary expense? Of course you can deduct preliminary expense, so I will deduct that. Finally, you purchased a gift for your family member 40 rupees. आपके कोई फैमिली मेंबर है, उनके लिए आपने गिफ्ट खरीदी. बिजनेस से पैसे लिए और आपने गिफ्ट खरीदी. Tell me, is this gift given to a family member your eligible business expense? Of course not. So this you will not get deduction. You will not get deduction of this. Okay, so this is your revenue, this is your expenses. Can you tell me profit? Can you tell me the profit? What will be your profit? You get 800. 800 is known as taxable profit. 800 is known as what? Taxable profit. What is the meaning of taxable profit? Profit on which income tax will be calculated. Profit on which income tax will be calculated. Right, let's take another example. Dhyan dena please. Example number 2. 1000 is your revenue. 50 is your salary. 100 is your rent. This time not 20 but 10 is your depreciation. Now please understand, both the provisions have different methods of calculating depreciation. Both the act have different percentages of depreciation that are applicable. Because the percentages are different, the depreciation will also be different. Preliminary expenses, income tax tells you पूरा का पूरा एक ही बार में आप डेबिट कर दो P&L में. कंपनीज एक्ट tells you कि जितना भी आपका प्रोविजन है वो आप 5 years में amortize कर सकते हो. So let us take 6 to be your preliminary expenses. Tell me, what's your profit as per the income tax, sorry, as per the Companies Act? Tell me, how much is your profit as per the Companies Act? We call this book profit. Also, you can call it profit available to equity shareholders. Of course, you will have deduction of dividend, preference dividend, you will have deduction of reserves. I am considering everything nil. This will be called as your profit to equity shareholders. Now, if you conceptually understand and if you realize there is one same company, there are same number of transactions, but two different provisions are giving you two different profits. One is known as the taxable profit, the other one is known as the book profit. Taxable profit is always calculated as per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013 and book sorry Income Tax Act 1961, and this one, the book profit, is always calculated as per the Companies Act 2013. So taxable profit calculated as per the Income Tax Act 1961 and the book profit calculated as per the Companies Act 2013. These are two different provisions. I am again repeating. One company is following two different acts. Both the acts have their provisions. As per both the acts, you have to calculate the profit, and both profits will be different because the provisions are different. Right. With this base, I first want to ask you all, are you all clear with this? Yes or no? Are you all clear till here? इतना concept समझ में आया? Quickly, each and everyone on the chat box, this is a very important accounting standard, so please ensure that you understand everything and keep responding to me so that I also understand. Sometimes students take a little bit more time to understand when I'm physically teaching them. Of course, this is online, so it has its own merits and demerits. But if you respond properly, if you ask doubts, if you understand, if you pay attention, I think this can be one of the most easiest accounting standards that you have. You have everything on the screen. I'm giving you 2 minutes time. Please look at whatever I have written, whatever I have done. Just recall whatever we have done. If you have any doubts, please ask me, and then we continue. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Please look at everything, and if you have any doubts, please tell me. Okay, I have one doubt which says, as per accounting standard, we can't defer preliminary expenses. Then why, for calculating book profit, we take 6 and not 30? Okay. Now, please understand, Raj, I am again explaining a basic concept to you. Understand it carefully. Accounting standard 26 has told you that you cannot defer any expenses. However, there is some accounting standard that can tell you कि इसको defer करो. That time you will defer it. You cannot say AS tells you no. AS-26 is a residuary accounting standard. जब कोई standard apply नहीं होता तब AS-26 apply होता है. So first thing that I want to tell you is that it is not that accounting standard tells you do not defer. It tells you, AS-26 tells you अगर कोई accounting standard किसी चीज को cover नहीं करता तो आप उसको डिफर नहीं कर सकते. अगर कोई अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड आपको कहता है कि इसको डिफर करो तो आपको करना पड़ेगा. Second point, pertaining to your question specifically, in this example that I gave you, I have taken hypothetical examples to explain to you how there is a difference between two provisions, right? You can take it the other way also, that income tax you take 6. Here in the income tax act you take 6, over here you take minus 30. Still, Raj, on the chat box, you will agree with me there is difference in the profit because both the provisions are different, right? Of course, you agree that still there are two different profits? Are you understanding? Okay, again I'm quickly revising whatever we have done. There is one company which has to follow two acts, Companies Act and the Income Tax Act. For the same financial year, for the same transactions that they have entered into, they will still have two different profits. One is known as the taxable profit and the other one is known as the book profit. And from here begins accounting standard 22. So come to your study material. Come to accounting standard 22. Let's understand the heading first. Come to accounting standard 22. It says accounting for taxes on income. ध्यान देना क्या बोल रहे हैं वो. Compare your statement of profit and loss and computation of taxable income. ये रहा. Compare your statement of profit and loss, 810 profit आया. Compare your computation of taxable income, 824 आया. Okay, आगे देखते हैं. Why do you have to compare the two? To identify point of difference between accounting profit and taxable profit. Quickly on the chat box, in the example that we have done, what is our point of difference between taxable income and book profit? Quickly, what is our point of difference? Compare the two and find out the point of difference between the two. Yes, of course, there are 2 points of difference. One is depreciation and the other is preliminary expense. So you have 2 points of difference. Let's again go to our study material. Line by line समझना, पूरा concept अच्छे से पता चल जाएगा. It says compare your statement of profit or loss and computation of taxable income. क्यों compare करना है? To identify point of difference between accounting profit and taxable profit. To compute what? To find out what the difference between accounting profit and taxable profit. तो सबसे पहले क्या करना है, हमें कंप्यूटेशन ऑफ इनकम टैक्स लेना है, उसका प्रॉफिट देखना है. फिर कंप्यूटेशन ऑफ टैक्स एज पर कंपनीज एक्ट देखना है, उसका प्रॉफिट देखना है. दोनों प्रॉफिट अलग है तो दोनों में से आइडेंटिफाई करना है किन पॉइंट्स की वजह से दोनों प्रॉफिट अलग आ रहे हैं हमारे. राइट, दैट इज व्हाट वी विल find out. What is the point of difference between the two profits? Right, after that, this difference, What is the difference over here? Can you tell me what is the difference between the two? How much difference do you have between the two? How much difference do you have between the two? 14. Okay, आगे देखो 14 के साथ क्या करना है. The above difference will be classified as first point permanent difference, second point timing difference. Very important point. Mark these two, very important. Mark these two, very important. Again I am repeating first sentence. आपका इनकम टैक्स का स्टेटमेंट ऑफ पीएनएल, आपका कंपनीज एक्ट का स्टेटमेंट ऑफ पीएनएल, दोनों को आप कंपेयर करेंगे. और क्यों कंपेयर करना है? क्योंकि आइडेंटिफाई करना है दोनों के बीच में डिफरेंस कितना है. और जो भी डिफरेंस आता है या तो वो परमानेंट डिफरेंस होगा या तो वो टाइमिंग डिफरेंस होगा. अब क्वेश्चन ये है कि परमानेंट डिफरेंस क्या होता है, टाइमिंग डिफरेंस क्या होता है, और दोनों के बीच में क्या डिफरेंस है. व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस in the meaning of permanent difference and what is the difference in the meaning of timing difference. Now let's understand step by step. Let's come to the Companies Act first. Companies Act ऐसा कहता है कि कोई भी एक्सपेंस आपने बिजनेस रिलेटेड किया हो, कोई भी एक्सपेंस आपने बिजनेस रिलेटेड किया हो तो आप उसको पीएनएल में डेबिट कर सकते हो. तो मैंने एक एक्सपेंस किया, मुझे किसी ने ऐसा कहा था कि शाम को 7 बजे तक आपको बिजनेस प्रीमाइसेस ओपन रखने हैं. 7 बजे के बाद बिजनेस प्रीमाइसेस अगर आपने ओपन रखे तो हम आपको पेनल्टी देंगे, कोई आपको पेनल्टी होगी. मैंने बिजनेस प्रीमाइसेस 9:30 बजे तक ओपन रखे, मुझे 5,000 रुपए पेनल्टी लगी. आई विल ऑफ कोर्स डेबिट टू the profit and loss account. Tell me, will this penalty increase your profit or reduce your profit? On the chat box, will this penalty increase your profit or reduce your profit? It will reduce your profit. Okay, let's take now a real life example. ये तो मैंने आपको समझाने के लिए एग्जाम्पल दिया. Let's take a real life example. There was some return of GST that I had to file on one particular date. वो GST रिटर्न तो मैंने उस डेट को फाइल नहीं किया, मैंने 10 दिन बाद फाइल किया. मुझे 2,000 रुपए पेनल्टी लगी फॉर लेट फाइलिंग ऑफ रिटर्न. This Companies Act will tell me debit to P&L. Again I am asking you, will this increase my profit or reduce my profit? Will this increase my profit or reduce my profit? Will this increase my profit or reduce? Of course it will reduce my profit. Okay, so in the Companies Act, whenever there is a penalty, I will reduce my profit. Why will I reduce my profit? I will reduce my profit because I am allowed to debit these penalties to the profit and loss account. कौन सी एक्ट में? कंपनीज एक्ट में. ये रहा, मैं हाईलाइट कर रहा हूं आपके लिए, कंपनीज एक्ट की बात हो रही है. ओके, लेट्स नाउ स्पीक अबाउट द इनकम टैक्स एक्ट. इनकम टैक्स एक्ट के प्रोविजन ऐसा कहते हैं कि जो भी पेनल्टी है, यू कैन नॉट डेबिट टू प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट. कोई भी पेनल्टी है आप पीएनएल डेबिट इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में नहीं कर सकते. क्योंकि आप पीएनएल डेबिट इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में नहीं कर सकते, आपका प्रॉफिट बुक प्रॉफिट के कंपैरिजन में ज्यादा आएगा. क्यों? क्योंकि उन्होंने पीएनएल पेनल्टी से डेबिट किया है, आपने पीएनएल पेनल्टी से डेबिट नहीं किया है. क्यों? क्योंकि उनको कंपनीज एक्ट को पीएनएल में पेनल्टी डेबिट करना अलाउड है, आपको पीएनएल में पेनल्टी डेबिट करना अलाउड नहीं है. यू कैन नॉट गेट, इनकम टैक्स की लैंग्वेज यूज करना, ध्यान देना, you cannot get deduction of penalty. Penalty expense is disallowed. Allowed means आप P&L को डेबिट कर सकते हो. Disallowed means P&L को डेबिट नहीं कर सकते. My question to you is, will there be difference in the profit between the Companies Act and the Income Tax Act? Yes or no? Will there be difference? Yes, there will be difference because of penalty. Okay. Next point ध्यान देना. It is said that whenever you get a deduction or whenever an expense is allowable, it is a benefit to the business owner. ऐसा कहते हैं कि अगर कोई एक्सपेंस अलावेबल है, अगर कोई एक्सपेंस का डिडक्शन मिल रहा है, तो वो चीज ओनर के लिए बेनिफिशियल है. क्यों बेनिफिशियल है, ध्यान से समझना. मेरा प्रॉफिट 10,000 रुपए, अगर आप कहते हो 3,000 रुपए अलावेबल एक्सपेंस है, बताइए मेरा प्रॉफिट कितना हो जाएगा. मेरा प्रॉफिट कितना हो जाएगा? 7,000. एवरीवन एग्री 7,000. ओके. मान लीजिए मेरा टैक्स रेट 10% है. मान लीजिए मेरा टैक्स रेट 10% है. मुझे 7,000 रुपए कितना टैक्स पे करना है? 700. और मान लीजिए ये डिडक्शन अलाउड नहीं होता, ये डिसअलाउड होता, तो कितना टैक्स पे करना पड़ता अगर 3,000 डिसअलाउड होता? तो 1,000. Of course, because then my profit would have been 10,000, so my tax would have been 1,000. On the chat box, everyone, yes or no, are you getting a benefit because of 3,000 rupees allowable expense? Yes or no? क्या आपको कोई बेनिफिट मिल रहा है? ऑफ कोर्स आपका टैक्स उतना बच रहा है, which means whenever an expense is allowable, it is definitely a benefit for the business owner. The Income Tax Act says कि अगर आप गलती कर रहे हो, ध्यान देना, मैं आपको रीजन समझा रहा हूं क्यों पेनल्टी यहाँ पे अलाउड है, वहां पे डिसअलाउड नहीं है. ध्यान देना प्लीज. इनकम टैक्स एक्ट का ये आर्ग्यूमेंट है कि आप लोग जो बिजनेस ओनर हो, एक तो आप लोग रूल फॉलो नहीं करते हो. क्योंकि आप रूल फॉलो नहीं करते हो, गवर्नमेंट आपको पेनल्टी लगाती है. वही पेनल्टी का आप डिडक्शन लेके गवर्नमेंट को ही कम टैक्स पे करते हो, विच मीन्स रूल फॉलो नहीं करना एक गलत बात नहीं, एक बेनिफिशियल बात होने लगी है, क्योंकि आपको उसका डिडक्शन मिलता है. और क्योंकि आपको उसका डिडक्शन मिलता है, आप शायद जानबूझ के गलती करोगे ताकि पेनल्टी हो और आपको इनकम टैक्स उतना बच जाए. विच मीन्स इनकम टैक्स एक्ट डज नॉट वांट टू गिव यू बेनिफिट फॉर द रॉन्ग दैट यू ऑल डू. That is why clearly penalty is disallowed. It is not an allowable expenditure. Penalty is disallowed, not an allowable expenditure. Are you understanding? Now let's come to the main point. ये तो मैंने आपको पूरा बेस समझा दिया. अब मेन पॉइंट पे आते हैं. इनकम टैक्स एक्ट के प्रोविजन कहते हैं आज नहीं कल, कल नहीं परसों, कभी भी हम आपको पेनल्टी का डिडक्शन नहीं देंगे. Which means, suppose if my profit is 5,000 rupees, Income Tax Act does not allow you any expenses for penalty. Companies Act allows you 1,000. Tell me, what is your profit as per the Income Tax Act? What is your profit as per Companies Act? What is your profit as per the Income Tax Act? What is your profit as per the Companies Act? Quickly on the chat box, what is your profit as per the Income Tax Act? What is your profit as per the Companies Act? Okay. Is there a difference between the two profits? Yes or no? Is there a difference between the two profits? Yes or no? On the chat box. Yes. Okay. Next question, very important. Dhyan dena. Everyone, please pay attention to this. If you understand this, it will be very easy for you. So please pay attention. आज पेनल्टी का डिडक्शन नहीं मिल रहा है इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में, अगले साल मिलेगा? यस और नो? उसके आने वाले साल में मिलेगा? यस और नो? फ्यूचर में कभी भी मिलेगा? यस और नो? फ्यूचर में कभी भी मिलेगा? यस और नो? नेवर. विच मीन्स, ध्यान देना मेरे वर्ड्स पे, विच मीन्स a difference which arises today will remain forever. It will never reverse. It will never become equal. This difference will remain forever. A difference that remains forever, that does not reverse itself in the future, is known as permanent difference. Is known as what? Permanent difference. A difference which arises today but never reverses itself in the future, that difference remains forever, that is known as permanent difference. Are you getting it? That is known as what? Permanent difference. Are you getting it? Everyone on the chat box, are you clear with this? Yes or no? Quickly on the chat box, are you clear with this concept? What is permanent difference? Difference that originates today but never reverses itself in the future. It remains the same. It never reverses. The difference will be there forever, is known as permanent difference. Are you absolutely clear with this? Permanent difference. Okay, see what they have given. Permanent difference, ध्यान देना. If there is a difference which originates in one period but does not reverse itself in the subsequent periods, it is known as permanent difference. Very important point. A difference that originates in one period but it never reverses itself in the subsequent periods is known as a permanent difference. Right, again I am reading. If there is a difference which originates in one period and does not reverse itself in the subsequent periods, it is known as permanent difference. Okay. Question is permanent difference का करना क्या है? Permanent difference के साथ एक ही चीज करनी है, ignore. मतलब आपके एग्जाम में कोई क्वेश्चन आता है जिसमें परमानेंट डिफरेंस आपको पता चलता है कि ये तो परमानेंट डिफरेंस है, तब आपको उसको क्या करना है? इग्नोर करना है. नो अकाउंटिंग ट्रीटमेंट इज टू बी गिवन. यू विल सिंपली इग्नोर इट. आर यू गेटिंग इट? व्हाट विल यू डू? यू विल सिंपली इग्नोर इट. Right? Quickly, everyone on the chat box, are you clear with this part? Yes or no? First part is done, that is permanent difference. Are you all clear with this? If you have any doubts, please ask me. I'm asking you individually. Akshay, Aman, Anjali, Bhavin, Dipesh, Dhairya, Dhara, Digesh, Harshit, Harshita, Het, Ishika, Ishita, Kajal, Khushi, Khushi, Manav, Nidhi, Nikita, Pavan, Pushti, Raghav, Raj. Are you all clear with this? Riya, Rizwan, Rohan, Samira, Shifa, Shreyas, Simran, Om, Spruha, Shrushri, Tulsi, Yash and Zaid. Are you all absolutely clear with this? Okay, again I'm repeating for you a quick revision. There are two acts having two profits: profit, taxable profit and book profit. Both the profits will be different because their provisions are different. We have to compare the two statements. Why should we compare? To find out the point of difference between the two. Whatever is the point of difference between the two, whatever is the point of difference between taxable profit and book profit, that will either lead to permanent difference or timing difference. What is permanent difference? Difference that originates in one period will never reverse itself in the future. That difference remains forever. That is why it is known as permanent difference. Now come to the next one, which is known as timing difference. Dhyan dena. Timing difference. What is the meaning of timing difference? Timing difference means the difference that originates today will definitely reverse itself in the future, and there will be one point when both will become the same. इसका मतलब ये है कि सिर्फ टाइम की बात है, आप थोड़ा टाइम शांति से बैठ जाओ, देखो थोड़े टाइम में दोनों प्रॉफिट सेम हो जाएंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि जो डिफरेंस की मैं बात कर रहा हूं उसका नेचर ऐसा है कि थोड़े टाइम के बाद वो डिफरेंस रिवर्स होने लगेगा और आपके दोनों प्रॉफिट्स इक्वल मतलब सेम हो जाएंगे. दैट कंसेप्ट इज नोन एज परमानेंट डिफरेंस. Now let's take one absolutely simple and a classic example to understand this. Let's take one profit as per the Income Tax Act and as per the Companies Act. Profit as per Income Tax Act is 10,000. Profit as per Companies Act is 10,000. Both have one same asset of 50,000. As per Income Tax Act, rate of depreciation is 10%. As per Companies Act, rate of depreciation is 5%. Okay. Tell me, depreciation for first year. Can you help me? Depreciation for first year as per the Income Tax Act is how much? On the chat box. What is your depreciation? 1,000. What's your profit? 9,000. 9,000. Okay. Suppose we are following SLM method. What's your depreciation for second year? Depreciation for second year. Again 1,000. Profit for second year. $8,000. Okay, excellent. What about depreciation as per the Companies Act first year? What about the depreciation as per the Companies Act first year? 500. Your profit will be 9,500. What about the second year? Again, you have 500. What's your profit? 8,000. Your depreciation for, okay, I think you all have made a mistake. You all have made a mistake. This is depreciation rate. Depreciation rate. This 10% has to be on 50,000. This 10,000 has to be on 50,000. 10% has to be on 50,000. So your depreciation for the first year will be 5,000. Yes or no? Yes, okay. Now let me solve it. I think that will be better. Let me solve it for you and you only understand. Let's change the example so that there is no more confusion. Suppose the value of the asset is 5,000. Let's not keep it 50,000. Let's keep it 5,000. Now after 5,000, your value of the asset, your rate of depreciation is 10% and 5%. Let me calculate depreciation. ध्यान देना. My first year depreciation will be 5,000 into 10% over here, and you have 5,000 into 5% over here. Let's see what's your depreciation. You have 500 over here, you have 250 over here. Second year also you will have 500, 250. Again third year you will have 500, you will have 250. Let's go at the end of 10th year. Can someone tell me what will be the value of the asset at the end of 10th year value as per the income tax? What will be the value of the asset at the end of the 10th year? Can someone tell me? Zero. Everyone gets zero. Yes. Why? 5,000 रुपए हम डेप्रिशिएट कर देंगे. 500 रुपए एक साल का. 10 साल का कितना? 5,000. At the end of the year 5,000 will be the depreciation that has been provided, and at the end of the 10th year you will have the value of the asset to be zero. Value of the asset will be zero. Can you tell me what will be your profit after the 10th year as per income tax act? Profit कितना होगा 10 साल के बाद? Can you tell me what will be your profit after the 10th year? What will be your profit after the 10th year? मान लीजिए और कोई एक्सपेंस नहीं है, आपका 1 लाख रुपीस प्रॉफिट है. पूरा असेट डेप्रिशिएट करने के बाद 10 साल के बाद आपका प्रॉफिट कितना आएगा? पुष्टि, how do you get 1 lakh? How much total depreciation did you provide? How much total depreciation did you provide? 5,000. So your profit will be 95,000. Your profit will be what? 95,000. Pushti, Ishita and Dharya. Pushti, Ishita and Dharya. Are you clear how do you get 95,000? Pushti, Ishita and Dharya. Are you now clear how do you get 95,000? Okay, excellent. You get, what's your profit? 95,000. See, I'm highlighting it. Please pay attention. After 10th year, what will be your total depreciation provided as per the Companies Act? After 10 years, what will be your total depreciation provided as per the Companies Act? 2,500? You have 2,500. Okay. Do you still have value of the asset? Yes or no? Do you still have value of the asset? Yes. How much value is there? 2500. Tell me, interesting question. Profit after the 10th year as per the Companies Act. Profit after the 10th year as per the Companies Act. You get 97,500. 97,500. On the chat box, everyone gets 97,500. If you do not get it, please ask me. You get 97,500. Okay, I think everyone is clear as to how do you get 97,500. Now next question, dhyan dena. Will you now provide further depreciation as per Income Tax Act? Yes or no? Will you provide any more depreciation? Pushti, how will you provide depreciation as per the Income Tax Act? Pushti, if you can explain, how will you still provide depreciation on the Income Tax Act? You will not provide. Why? Why? Because the value of the asset has become zero. The value of the asset is nil. So your profit for the next year will also be 95,000. Let's understand this. Profit for the 11th year will be 95,000. On the other hand, will you provide depreciation as per the Companies Act now? Will you provide depreciation as per the Companies Act? Yes. How much depreciation will you provide? How much depreciation? 250. There, not 500, 250. Please pay attention to the question. 250. Okay. What will be your profit for the 11th year for Companies Act? Profit for the 11th year for Companies Act? You get 97,250. Okay, now please pay attention. Now you can see reversal of the difference. यहाँ पे 95,000 था, यहाँ पे सेम रहा, लेकिन यहाँ पे 250 रिवर्स होके डिफरेंस धीरे धीरे कम हो जाएगा. डिफरेंस क्या होगा? धीरे धीरे कम हो जाएगा. Can you tell me what will be your profit after 20th year? What will be your profit as per Companies Act? Sorry, as per the Income Tax Act. What will be your profit as per the Income Tax Act after 20th year? What will be your profit as per Income Tax Act? 95,000. No depreciation to be provided. 95,000. आने वाले 10 साल में आप यहाँ पे कितना depreciation provide कर दोगे? 2,500 more. What will be your profit as per the Companies Act? What will be your profit as per the Companies Act after 20 years? 95,000. Can you see both the profits are same? Yes or no? Can you see both the profits are same? Yes or no? Which means, ध्यान देना यहाँ पे, which means profit that, difference that originated in the first period, यहाँ पे difference that originated in the first period is completely reversed at the end of 20th year. Which means एक बार जो difference arise हुआ वो धीरे धीरे difference reverse होता है और एक point ऐसा आता है जहां दोनों equal हो जाते हैं, फिर कोई difference नहीं रहता. एक point ऐसा आता है जहां दोनों equal हो जाते हैं, there is no difference. This point is known as timing difference. Difference that originates in one period and it is capable of reversing itself in the subsequent periods. This is known as timing difference. Are you understanding? Yes or no? Are you conceptually clear with this? Yes or no? Are you all conceptually clear with this? Yes or no? Are you all clear with this? Yes or no? Okay, let's see what they have given. Timing difference. It is a difference that originates in one period and reverses itself in one or more subsequent periods. So, difference that arises today and reverses itself in one or more subsequent periods will be a timing difference, right? Difference that originates in one period and can reverse itself in the subsequent periods is known as timing difference. Okay, everyone, once again, let's understand it. Permanent difference, difference that originates today but never reverses itself in the future, permanent difference. Timing difference, difference that originates today and reverses itself in one or more subsequent periods is known as timing difference. Can someone tell me on the chat box, what do you do with permanent difference? Can someone tell me on the chat box, what will you do with permanent difference? You will ignore. Now, what will you do with timing difference? Dhyan dena. Timing difference will result into deferred tax asset और a deferred tax liability. ये क्या है मैं आपको बाद में समझाऊंगा. सिर्फ याद इतना रखना कि परमानेंट डिफरेंस हो तो हमें इग्नोर करना है, टाइमिंग डिफरेंस हो तो आगे ढूंढना पड़ेगा कि क्या ये डिफरेंस डिफर्ड टैक्स असेट है या डिफर्ड टैक्स लायबिलिटी. Are you getting it? All we have to understand is this deferred tax asset or deferred tax liability? Right, quickly, everyone on the chat box, are you clear with this? Everyone, are you clear till here? If you're clear till here, only then I can go to question number 1. Everyone on the chat box, Akshay, Aman, Bhavin, Dipesh, Dhairya, Dhara, Digesh, Harshit, Harshita, Het, Ishika, Ishita, Kajal, Khushi, Khushi, Manav, Nidhi, Nikita, Pawan, Pushti, Raghav, Raj, Riya, Rizwan, Rohan, Samira, Shifa, Shreya, Simran, Om, Spruha, Shrushti, Tulsi, Yash and Zaid. Are you all absolutely clear with whatever we have done? Okay. If you're clear with this, now we will identify permanent or timing difference with 6 examples. But before that, I would recommend let's take a 10 minutes break. It is 9:15 right now. Take a 10 minutes break. I'll see you at 9:25. And then we quickly understand these 6 examples. It will help you understand the concept, the difference between permanent difference and timing difference. Right? So quickly take a 10 minutes break and I'll see you sharp at 9:25. Okay, come to illustration number 1. Let's get back to illustration number 1. Illustration number 1. Okay, ध्यान देना 6 के 6 example. Let's understand it systematically and then you will answer. First one. In fact, what do you have to do? From the following information, identify either permanent difference or टाइमिंग डिफरेंस. करना क्या है? पहचानना है कि क्या इसमें परमानेंट डिफरेंस है या टाइमिंग डिफरेंस है. पहला क्वेश्चन ध्यान देना. पेनल्टीज पेड अंडर द इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 1961. ये तो मैंने पढ़ा है, सो यू कैन आंसर दिस. टेल मी, परमानेंट डिफरेंस और टाइमिंग डिफरेंस. Tell me, permanent difference or timing difference? Okay, everyone agrees it is permanent difference. Absolutely right. See, penalties paid under the Income Tax Act. Answer number 1, permanent difference. Okay, let's go to the second one. Now, before I go to the second one, let me explain the concept to you. There is a section in the Income Tax Act, section 80G, that puts a limit on the deduction allowed for donations. अगर आप डोनेशन करोगे तो जितना किया सारा का सारा इनकम टैक्स में अलाउड नहीं है. एक लिमिट है कि इतना ही अलाउड है, उसके ऊपर डिस अलाउड. कंपनीज एक्ट में ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. कंपनीज एक्ट में यू कैन हैव फुल डिडक्शन ऑफ डोनेशंस. 80G में एक लिमिट से ज्यादा डिडक्शन कभी नहीं मिल सकता. कंपनीज एक्ट में फुल डिडक्शन मिलता है. नाउ टेल मी, विद दिस बेस, विद दिस नॉलेज, टेल मी, डिडक्शन एक्सीडिंग स्पेसिफाइड लिमिट, permanent difference or timing difference? Everyone on the chat box, if you reply, you will be able to understand. If you keep looking at everyone, you're not going to get anything. So please reply. If you're wrong, I will correct you. But at least reply so that you understand what should be the correct answer and I understand how do you think. Tell me, donation exceeding specified limit, permanent difference or timing difference? Everyone on the chat box, permanent difference or timing difference? Okay, come to the third one. I think everyone is clear with this. Come to the third one. Before going to the third one, I want to know from you, do you know anything about agricultural income in income tax? आपको पढ़ा है agricultural income क्या होता है in income tax? Have you been taught agricultural income in income tax? Okay, you have been taught that agricultural income is exempt from income tax. मतलब किसी के पास एग्रीकल्चरल इनकम होगा तो उसको टैक्स नहीं पे करना है, वो एग्जेम्प्ट है. राइट? कैन समवन टेल मी व्हाट इज द टैक्सेबल वैल्यू ऑफ एग्रीकल्चरल इनकम इन इनकम टैक्स? व्हाट इज द टैक्सेबल वैल्यू ऑफ एग्रीकल्चरल इनकम इन इनकम टैक्स? जीरो, नील? ओके, एक्सेलेंट. इज इट ऑल्सो नील इन कंपनीज एक्ट? Is it also nil in Companies Act? Of course not. If it is not, tell me, agricultural income, timing difference or permanent difference? Timing difference. Permanent difference. Okay, everyone agrees. Permanent difference. Okay, excellent. Let's go to the next one. Now, before I go to the next one, again, please understand something. There is one section in the income tax which says expenses such as bonus should be actually paid to get deduction. अगर आपको बोनस आपने दिया है तो आप जब एक्चुअली पे करोगे तभी उसका डिडक्शन मिलेगा. मान लीजिए इस फाइनेंशियल ईयर में you do not actually pay, no deduction. Next financial year you actually pay, you will get deduction. मतलब मान लीजिए मैंने 1920 में एक्चुअली बोनस पे नहीं किया तो मुझे 1920 में डिडक्शन नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन वही साल का डिडक्शन अगर मैंने 2021 में पे किया तो मुझे डिडक्शन मिल जाएगा. ये प्रोविजन है इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में. कंपनीज एक्ट में ऐसा कोई प्रोविजन नहीं. I am again repeating, there are some expenses like bonus that should be actually paid to get the deduction. If in the current year you do not pay, no deduction. If for the current year you pay in the next year, you will get deduction. Now with this, tell me, bonus to employees, timing difference or permanent difference? Timing difference or permanent difference? Of course, it is timing difference. Why is it timing difference? Because if you do not get deduction this year, there will be a difference. But next year, when you actually pay, that difference will reverse itself and you will get deduction the next year. तो कंपनीज एक्ट में इस साल डिडक्शन मिल जाएगा, इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में आने वाले साल में डिडक्शन मिल जाएगा, विच मीन्स आने वाले साल में इस केस में दोनों प्रॉफिट फिर से इक्वल हो जाएंगे. दैट इज व्हाई दिस इज अ टाइमिंग डिफरेंस. Are you understanding? This is what? This is definitely a timing difference. Right, if you're clear with this, let's go to the next one. Preliminary expenses. Preliminary expenses भी मैंने आपको समझाया है. एक एक्ट में आपको फुल्ली पीएनएल में डेबिट करना है, एक एक्ट में वो ऐसा कहता है कि आप इसको डिफर करेंगे. टेल मी अबाउट preliminary expenses. Timing difference or permanent difference? Quickly, everyone, I want you to think and reply. Even if you're wrong, don't worry, but reply, attempt, try, so that I can understand how do you think. Everyone, tell me, preliminary expenses. Is it timing difference, permanent difference? Everyone, Akshay, Aman, Bhavin, Dipesh, Dhere, I want everyone to answer. Dhara, Digesh, Harshit, Harshita, Het, Ishika, Ishita, Kajal, Khushi, Manav, Nidhi, Nikita, permanent or timing difference? Pavan, Pushti, Raghav, Raj, Riya, Rizwan, Rohan, Samira, Shifa, Shreya, Simran, Om, Spruha, Shrushti, Tulsi, Yash, and Zaid. Timing difference or permanent difference? Of course, it is timing difference. Okay, if you're clear with this, let's go to the last one. Expenses for which weighted deduction is available. Now let's understand what is the meaning of weighted deduction. Now there are some sections, for example, section 35AB of the Income Tax Act. Now what these sections do is, please understand, they focus on research. They say that if you do any research expense, ध्यान देना please, if you do any research expense, we will give you weighted deduction. Weighted deduction मतलब आप 100 रुपए खर्चा करो पर हम आपको 125%, that is 125 रुपीज का डिडक्शन देंगे. वेटेड डिडक्शन मतलब जितना आप एक्सपेंस करते हो उससे 25% ज्यादा डिडक्शन देंगे. हम आपको ज्यादा बेनिफिट देंगे ताकि आपको उतना टैक्स कम पे करना पड़े और हमारे कंट्री में रिसर्च और डेवलपमेंट का सेक्शन बढ़े. इसलिए वो लोग क्या करते हैं, दे आस्क यू टू डू इन हाउस रिसर्च. आप खुद रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट करो और उसके लिए हम आपको डिडक्शन देंगे. आप जितना भी खर्चा करोगे उसका डायरेक्टली आप पीएनएल में डेबिट कर सकते हो. नाउ दिस प्रोविजन इज देयर इन द इनकम टैक्स. इट इज नॉट देयर इन द कंपनीज एक्ट. In the Companies Act, it is not there. Now, Companies Act will always debit 100 to PNL, but income tax will debit how much? 125 to PNL. Tell me, yes or no? Will Companies Act allow higher deduction next year? Yes or no? क्या Companies Act में अगले साल 125 ले सकते हैं? बिल्कुल भी नहीं. आने वाले साल ले सकते हैं? बिल्कुल भी नहीं. कभी भी ले सकते हैं? बिल्कुल भी नहीं. Tell me on the chat box, timing difference or permanent difference? Everyone on the chat box, timing difference or permanent difference? Okay, everyone agrees this is permanent difference. Chalo, quickly, everyone on the chat box, are you clear with this? Are you all clear with this? Yes or no? Everyone on the chat box, are you clear with this? Yes or no? Are you all absolutely clear with this? Yes or no? This is the basic of AS-22. One must be clear with this in order to understand the next provisions. So please tell me if you are not clear. If you want me to repeat anything, please tell me. I will repeat it for you. Okay. If you all are clear with this, let's quickly revise whatever we have done. And Akshay, in that, I will also revise the sixth part that you want me to repeat. So, of course, I'll do that. Let's quickly go to the study material. Let's quickly revise whatever we have done. And then, if you still have doubts, tell me, I'll repeat it for you. So, we have understood there are, for one company, one financial year, same transactions, there are two kinds of profit that we have to find: profit as per the Companies Act and profit as per the Income Tax Act. We have to compare the two to find out the difference between accounting profit and taxable profit. This difference will either be permanent difference or timing difference. Permanent difference means a difference that originates today in one period will never reverses itself in the future or in the subsequent periods is known as permanent difference. Permanent difference should always be ignored and should not be accounted for. On the other hand, timing difference is the difference that originates in one period and reverses itself in one or more subsequent periods. This timing difference will result into either deferred tax asset or deferred tax liability. तो कोई भी क्वेश्चन देख के पहले ये समझना है कि क्या ये परमानेंट डिफरेंस है या टाइमिंग डिफरेंस है, right? And then if it is permanent difference, you will ignore. If it is timing difference, it will either lead to deferred tax asset or deferred tax liability. After that, we did 6 points. Penalties, as they are not allowed by the Income Tax Act, they are permanent differences. Donation exceeding specified limit, not allowed, permanent difference. Agricultural income, always exempt, always zero, permanent difference. Bonus to employees, if not paid today, not allowable. However, it will be allowable whenever you pay in the future. So this is a timing difference. Preliminary expenses, some defer it, some charge it today, but ultimately it will reverse itself in the future. This is also a timing difference. And finally, expenses for weighted deduction. Akshay, please understand. Some some companies get a benefit of taking weighted deduction. मतलब 100 रुपए खर्चा करो तो 125 रुपए का डिडक्शन मिलेगा. क्यों? क्योंकि हमने गवर्नमेंट की कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई की. तो गवर्नमेंट हमको एक्स्ट्रा बेनिफिट, एक्स्ट्रा डिडक्शन देते हैं इनकम टैक्स में. लेकिन ये बेनिफिट आपको कंपनीज एक्ट में नहीं मिलता, सिर्फ इनकम टैक्स में मिलता है, और कंपनीज एक्ट में कभी आगे मिलने भी नहीं वाला. Which means there is more deduction in the Income Tax Act, less in the Companies Act, and this difference will never reverse itself in the future. That is why this is a permanent difference. Are you getting it? I hope, Akshay, that solves your doubt. I hope that's all settled. Okay, perfect. So quickly, everyone on the chat box, are you all clear with this? This is very important. So quickly, everyone on the chat box, are you clear with this? Yes or no? Are you all clear with this? Akshay, Aman, Bhavin, Dipesh, Dhairya, Dhara, Digesh, Harshit, Harshita, Het, Ishika, Ishita, Kajal, Khushi, Manav, Nidhi, Nikita, Pavan, Pushti, Raghav, Raj, Riya, Rizwan, Rohan, Samira, Shifa, Shreyas, Simran, Spruha, Om, Shrushti, Tulsi, Yash. Are you all absolutely clear with this? Right, I am again and again asking you by names because this is a very technical accounting standard and a very important accounting standard. Plus, we are studying it online. So I just want to double check whether you all are clear with this or not. Okay, I think you all are absolutely clear with this. And I believe this much is sufficient for today. What you will do is you will go back and revise the entire accounting standard 22, whatever we have done. If you have any doubts, please get back to me. Right, a lot of you have been asking me about accounting standard 10 part 2 of the video. Now that video is with Sanket sir. He will be uploading it soon and then I will be sharing the link with you. So just hold on for some time and you will get that link as well. Right, whatever we have done today, please revise. If you have any doubts, please get back to me. Thank you so much for attending and I will now see you on Sunday and we will continue and we'll go to the next part of this accounting standard. Till then, please revise so that you can thoroughly understand whatever we have done. Right. Thank you so much for attending and I'll now see you on Sunday. Thank you.